Hello guys, welcome back to Bart from NutriBrains, also known as the Brain Health Family Guy. Now, I want to share with you a little story about my personal ADHD background. As you may know, I got diagnosed with ADHD at 6 years old. Now, this diagnosis in and of itself left a psychological stamp on my forehead. As you start to identify yourself with everything that is inherently associated with ADHD, and that can range from IQ to being able to focus or just feeling different from the other peers. I know I was unique, but all of a sudden this was now confirmed by the doctor. I grew up as a fairly happy kid, always teasing my brother, looking for my next dopamine rush by provoking people. Yet I found myself also fairly confused in a lot of areas. And one of these areas was school. Yes, in school I would be not able to concentrate or even sit still in a classroom. I had too much energy in my little body that wanted to express itself, but didn't have an opportunity to do so. I would be very distracted, very scattered-minded. My mind would be all over the place. I had low self-esteem, and I would also have poor social skills. Now, to make things worse, on top of all of that, I would also be taking Ritalin for over 15 years. Now, Ritalin, it made me focus throughout my school years, so it made me pass all of my exams. But it also had a few nasty side effects, so it would numb down my emotions, so I would basically turn into a zombie, more or less like a robot. The second item is that around my 17 years, I would start to engage in social smoking, which basically means that I would start to smoke cigarettes, smoke weed for at least 4 years on a regular basis. And the last item is that I was, throughout my teenage years and my young adulthood, I would be in pretty bad health. So I would have severe constipation for up to 10 days sometimes, and I would be severely underweight. I would be malnourished. Suffice to say that life was not going very smoothly for me back then. Now, fast forward to 21 years of age, I would find myself at university doing pretty well with most of my courses. The medication I was taking allowed to focus myself on my course notes for extended periods of time, so that was definitely a good thing. Now, even though I had some moderate academic success, I was not at all satisfied with how I was living my life. I was basically very fearful of having to live the rest of my life being dependent on medication, and where my emotions would be numbed to such a degree that I would be walking around on the street like a living zombie, like a robot. And quite simply, I was not willing to put up with that. So I decided to set up an experiment that would change the course of the rest of my life. Basically, the experiment was as followed. I would commit myself to focused study for 3 hours, but without any medication. That was the experiment. Now, I basically had to stop myself after 2 hours because I would still be reading the first page of my course notes. Yeah, I was trying to attach a meaning to the words and the sentences of the information. I basically could not comprehend what I was reading. So that conclusion for me was so staggering, was so frustrating, was so alarming to me, that I decided to take a different route in life. Because I was not going to feel like a zombie or like a robot for the rest of my life just to be able to function in society. What followed after that was basically a period of non-stop scavenging, looking for all kinds of strategies that could enhance my brain power to compensate for what I was lacking back then. So I stumbled upon a lot of different things, ranging from binaural beats, isochronic tones, to mindfulness meditation, to exercise, to nutrition, to enhancing my sleep quality, and all these things made a significant impact. I started with meditation because that really allowed me to change my perspective about myself and about life. Yes, meditation allowed me to perceive life in a different light, as so to speak. Nutrition also really changed my life for the better. Now, after 6 months of looking, trying, I was able to clear up my brain and the way it was working to such a degree that I could finish my last year at university without any medication whatsoever. So that was my personal victory. So what is your personal victory? What did you learn during the course of your life that you could share with other people? Let me know down below. See you soon, guys.